Hey everyone, so today we're going to discuss the pros and cons of the various job arrangements you can get as a software engineer. So we're talking about fully in the office, fully remote, and a hybrid between the two. Clearly, the best is going to be highly subjective, and so the goal of this video is to ask the right questions to figure out what is the best option for you. So without further ado, let's dive right into the video. Let's start from the ideal situation, what I think is the best arrangement possible. So all things being equal, and so we're talking about relationship with colleagues, quality of work, learning opportunities, and of course salary. If all those things are equal, then a hybrid work arrangement with some flexibility is probably the best one because it adapts to the individual needs. If someone likes to go to the office for the collaboration and the social aspects, can do it most days. Whereas people that prefer working from home, they can do it as well. Now, the tricky thing is that depending on where you live and your personal needs, hybrid work might not be the best choice because those all things being equal might not be as equal. So because the choice can change dramatically and it's highly subjective, let's go through the questions you should be asking yourself to evaluate the best job arrangement for you. Okay, so the first question you should be asking yourself is the office a nice to have or a must have for you? Because people tend to fall into three categories. There are the ones that hate the office and would like to work at home every day. There are the ones that love the office and would like to work on the office most days. And then a lot of people fall in this middle ground that is, I really like the office, I like the social aspects and the collaboration side of it, but I don't feel that I would be unhappy without the office work. And to be honest, I tend to fall into this category, and I'm going to talk about my experience later in the video. Why is this question so important? It's because even though there are no right or wrong answers, the one you choose can have big consequences in the number and quality of opportunities you can reach. Let's expand a bit on the must-have case. So for you, the office is a must-have. You want to have access to an office. In such cases, you should be asking yourself a second question. Am I willing to relocate? Now, why is this so important? Because if you want to have access to an office, but you're not willing to relocate, then you're limited to local companies. And don't get me wrong, there might be some really good local companies, but by definition, the number of opportunities is smaller. So you might need to make some compromises with the factors we talked about earlier. So learning opportunities, quality of work, and salary, right? If you're willing to relocate, on the other hand, to a different city or different country, then you might be exposed to a lot of opportunities. And so you might not need to make compromises in terms of quality of work and salary. But of course, the compromise is that you need to move. So you are living away family, friends, and your place, which for some people is not a big deal. For others, it is. So again, it's all a matter of compromises. Now let's go back to the previous question and try to answer it differently. So is the office a must-have or a nice-to-have? If the answer for you is a nice-to-have, which means you might really like the relationship with the colleagues and the social aspects of it, but you don't feel like you would refuse an offer if you didn't have access to an office. In such cases, you get access to a global pool of fully remote positions, which compared to the local opportunities might be better in terms of learning opportunities, quality of work, and salaries. And you get all of this without the need to relocate. So it's clearly a trade-off. You trade the office part with not having to relocate, which it's really subjective, of course. So to sum it up, the question is the office a must-have or nice-to-have for you? If the answer is yes, then ask yourself, am I willing to relocate? Again, if the answer is yes, great, you have access to the global pool of opportunities, but you need to relocate. If the answer is no, you have access to just the small pool of local opportunities, which might be limiting. But if for you the office is a nice-to-have, then it's great. You have access to the global pool of opportunities, full remote, which I think it's really good. I'd like to close the video talking a bit about my personal experience because I think it might be helpful to some of you. So I worked for 3 companies so far, and 2 of them were fully remote arrangements and one was a hybrid one. I started my career while I was still studying in university, about 2.5, 3 years ago almost. I remember I was preparing my master thesis at the time, and a company got in touch with me asking if I would be interested in helping them as a contractor to build their software. And I remember that experience was great in terms of learning opportunities. I learned a ton, probably because it was my first job, so I learned a lot. But I remember that by the end of our collaboration, which lasted almost a year, I was feeling a bit lonely, right? And at the time, I blamed the fully remote arrangement. I thought that was causing me to be a bit lonely. And so I tried an experiment. I applied to a local company, which I really liked, and I got accepted and worked for them for pretty much a year, something a bit more than that. And even though we were going through the pandemic and the lockdowns, so I couldn't experience the office life as much as I would have liked to, I did experience a part of it, and I really liked it. I liked the social aspects, the perks, the collaboration with colleagues in person. It was great, right? I didn't feel like I would have liked to go to the office every single day. I still liked the flexibility of a hybrid arrangement, but I felt that was the right balance, right? And by the end of the year, I was feeling happy. So I thought, okay, so maybe the fully remote arrangement is not right for me. But the thing is, I started questioning myself with the previous question. So is the office a must-have or a nice-to-have for me? And after a lot of consideration, I came up with my answer. For me, the office, even though it was very nice, it was nice. I mean, it was a nice-to-have. I could live without it if an opportunity, a good opportunity would come up. Of course, again, if all things are equal, then the hybrid working is the best, at least for me. But things in life are often not equal, depending on where you live. At least here in Italy, it's not like that. So about 4 months ago, I started collaborating with a new company, again, a fully remote work arrangement. And after 4 months with them, I really love it. I feel happy and I don't feel this loneliness anymore. How come? So I thought about it a lot. And the thing is, when I first had my fully remote job, my first fully remote job, we were going through the pandemic and the lockdowns. And I could not see my friends, part of my family, my loved ones. It was a difficult period by itself. And at first I blamed the full remote job for what I was experiencing. But the truth is, it was due to the pandemic. Now that I can see my friends, my loved ones, my family, after the workday, I feel that all my social needs are fulfilled. I don't feel like I miss hanging out with colleagues all the day because I can get my social need, I can fulfill my social needs outside of work, which by the way, I think if you manage to, it's the best approach long run, because at some point you might change jobs, and so you don't want your social aspects to be too reliant on your job. But that's another topic. I think that's all for this video. If you liked it, please consider leaving a like and subscribing because it helps tremendously, and I hope to see you in the next one.